Beef is one of the most popular types of meat in the world, and has been a staple food for many cultures throughout history. But how much do you really know about the beef industry? In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at 5 shocking facts that might make you think twice before consuming beef. From environmental impact to animal welfare, the beef industry has a lot of secrets that are often kept hidden from consumers. So sit back, and get ready to learn some eye-opening information about the beef industry. Antibiotics are a valuable tool in medicine, but they are also widely used in the beef industry. In fact, around 70% of the antibiotics sold in the United States are given to livestock, including cattle, pigs, and chickens. These drugs are used to prevent and treat infections in animals, and to promote growth. However, this overuse of antibiotics creates a serious problem, as it can lead to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. In addition, the use of antibiotics in livestock production can contribute to the spread of these resistant bacteria to humans through food or environmental contamination. The overuse of antibiotics in the beef industry can lead to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which are harmful to humans. These bacteria can be passed from cattle to humans directly, through handling or consumption of contaminated meat, or indirectly, through contaminated water or soil. What's more, research has shown that people who live close to livestock farms, where animals are regularly given antibiotics, are at a higher risk of becoming infected with antibiotic-resistant bacteria. This is particularly concerning given the sheer volume of antibiotics used in the beef industry. The impact of antibiotic-resistant bacteria on human health cannot be overstated. These bacteria can cause severe and often untreatable infections, leading to higher rates of illness and even death. As the incidence of antibiotic resistance continues to rise, it's imperative that we take action to address the underlying issue. By reducing the use of antibiotics in livestock production, we can help to slow the development of resistant bacteria and protect public health. Additionally, supporting more sustainable farming practices, like raising grass-fed beef or organic beef, can also help to decrease the use of antibiotics in the industry. One of the biggest environmental problems associated with beef production is deforestation. To make space for cattle grazing and feed production, vast areas of forests and other natural habitats have been cleared across the globe. In places like the Amazon rainforest, entire ecosystems are threatened by this practice, and countless species are at risk of extinction. Beef production is the single largest contributor to deforestation, accounting for around 80% of all land cleared in the Amazon, for instance. In addition to causing habitat loss and reducing biodiversity, deforestation can also impact the water cycle, soil health, and climate patterns. Deforestation has serious consequences for both the environment and the people who depend on it. When forests are destroyed, the wildlife they harbor is displaced or lost altogether. This can lead to a loss of biodiversity, which can have negative impacts on the health of ecosystems. Deforestation can also contribute to climate change, by releasing carbon that was previously stored in trees and releasing it into the atmosphere. And when forests are cleared to make way for cattle grazing or feed production, it can displace indigenous and local communities, who may lose their homes, their livelihoods, or both. While the beef industry is a major contributor to deforestation, consumers also play a role in the problem. By purchasing beef from unsustainable sources, consumers are indirectly contributing to deforestation, climate change, and other environmental problems. However, consumers can also be part of the solution. By supporting sustainable beef production through their purchasing decisions, they can help to reduce demand for beef linked to deforestation, and support more environmentally friendly farming practices. This could involve choosing grass-fed or organic beef, or reducing overall meat consumption. Ultimately, it's up to all of us to create change and support a more sustainable and equitable food system. Dairy farming plays a crucial role in the beef industry, providing milk for consumption and processing into a variety of dairy products. However, the focus of the industry is on breeding female cows that can produce milk, leaving male offspring as a surplus. These male calves are not useful for milk production and are therefore considered waste products. Many are sold for veal production or to become working oxen, but a significant number are slaughtered shortly after birth. This practice, while common in the industry, is a harsh reality for these animals and a cause for concern among animal welfare activists. For most male calves born in the dairy industry, their fate is a grim one. Many are sold to veal production facilities, where they are kept in small pens and fed a nutrient-poor diet to keep their meat pale and tender. However, a significant number are slaughtered shortly after birth, often within hours, as they are considered a financial burden to the industry. This practice can be harsh and inhumane, as calves are frequently separated from their mothers immediately after birth and may be forced to endure transportation and handling before being killed. For animal welfare advocates, the mass slaughter of male calves is a significant concern and highlights ethical issues within the beef industry. Despite the harsh reality of male calf slaughter, there are alternatives that can help prevent this practice. One solution is to repurpose male calves for other purposes, such as veal production or for work as oxen. In some areas, there are efforts to establish networks of farmers who will take male calves and raise them for beef production or to sell to other farmers who need oxen. Another approach is to use sexed semen technology to ensure that only female calves are born. While not foolproof, this can reduce the number of male calves born and minimize the need for their slaughter. Finally, reducing dairy consumption overall can decrease the need for intensive dairy farming practices that rely on the mass production of male calves. The beef industry has a significant environmental impact, with vast areas of land required to support cattle grazing and feed production. This can lead to deforestation, degradation of natural habitats, and damage to water sources. Additionally, beef production requires large amounts of water and other resources to raise and transport cattle, with estimates suggesting that 1 pound of beef requires up to 2,500 gallons of water. Runoff from farms can also lead to water pollution, which can harm aquatic ecosystems and even human populations. All of these factors contribute to the industry's significant carbon footprint and negative impact on the environment. Cattle produce methane gas as part of their digestive process, and this gas is a potent greenhouse gas that contributes significantly to climate change. Estimates suggest that the beef industry produces more greenhouse gas emissions than the entire transportation sector combined, and the majority of these emissions come from the methane produced by cattle. As more and more land is cleared for grazing and feed production, this impact is only set to grow. While there are efforts to reduce methane emissions in the industry through changes in diet or improvements in manure management, the sheer scale of the industry means that more will be needed to address this critical issue. The impact of beef on climate change cannot be overstated, as the industry generates more greenhouse gas emissions than the transportation sector combined. Deforestation, land use change, and the methane produced by cattle all contribute to the industry's negative impact on the environment. Climate change is already having significant impacts on our planet, from rising sea levels to more extreme weather events. By continuing to support the beef industry and consume meat products in large quantities, we are contributing to this crisis and endangering the future of our planet. Alternatives like plant-based diets and sustainable farming practices offer hope for reducing the negative impact of beef production, and it's up to all of us to support these efforts. The realities of cattle farming in the beef industry are often harsh and inhumane, with large-scale industrial farming practices employed to maximize profits. Many farms use feedlots to raise large numbers of cattle in small areas, which can lead to overcrowding, poor sanitation, and an increased risk of disease. Antibiotics and hormones are also frequently used to increase the growth of cattle and prevent illness, with concerns raised about the potential impacts of these substances on human health. Additionally, the practice of transport and slaughter can be equally inhumane, with reports of animals being subjected to long and stressful journeys, as well as cruel or unhygienic conditions at slaughterhouses. Reports of animal mistreatment in the beef industry are unfortunately not uncommon, with examples of animal cruelty and neglect coming to light frequently. These incidents can include overcrowding of animals in small spaces, lack of clean and healthy living conditions, and physical and psychological abuse of animals by workers. Undercover investigations of beef facilities have revealed shocking footage of cows being kicked and beaten, dragged by their legs, and inhumanely slaughtered. These reports typically generate widespread public condemnation, but there has been little overall reform in the industry. This raises important ethical concerns around the consumption of beef and the impact of consumer choices on animal welfare. The impact of poor conditions on animal welfare can be devastating, with the physical and psychological health of animals often severely impacted. Overcrowding can lead to high levels of stress and aggression among animals, and can also result in health issues like respiratory problems and weakened immune systems. Poor sanitation can lead to disease outbreaks among cattle, with animals often left to suffer without proper veterinary care. Neglect and abuse further compound these issues, leading to unnecessary pain and suffering for the animals. While some regulations exist to protect animal welfare in the beef industry, enforcement can be lax and there is often little accountability for those who violate these standards. Ultimately, it's up to consumers to demand better conditions for the animals that provide our food. The beef industry is a complex and often problematic industry that has a profound impact on the environment, animal welfare, and public health. The 5 shocking facts we've explored in this video may have been surprising, but they're just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the issues surrounding beef production and consumption. As consumers, we have the power to make a difference by choosing to support more sustainable and responsible farming practices, and by reducing our overall consumption of beef. It's up to us to decide what kind of world we want to live in, and how we want to treat the creatures we share it with.